Hello everyone, and thanks for joining me for the Christmas Day ornament tutorial. I usually do lives, and so this is the first time I've done a tutorial, and I'll try to keep it so that you can follow along with me, and I'm going to put in some pauses so that you can actually do the cutting and put things together. And then in your kit, you're going to have the set of the scrap anise, and this is the one that contains all of your bases: the tag, the star, the bauble, and the bell. You're also going to have a set of 6 element sheets. These are double-sided, and there's an awful lot of images that we won't be using, so you're going to be able to make a lot more projects from this set. Then you're going to have an 8x8 pad, and in this pad there are 2 each of 6 sheets, so there's plenty to work with in here too. And then lastly, I included this sheet of elements. And you can see those are also double-sided. You also are going to get a sheet of vellum. So let's get started with the backer pages. I think that's the best place to start. We're going to get all of our pieces cut and put together, and then we'll be ready to go. So let's set this aside. We're going to start with the 8x8 sheet. And what I'm going to do, let me see where we are here. Some of these you're going to use pieces from the front and the back. So when I first did it, I split it into 2 so I knew where I was going. And also on the inside cover, you have even more elements. All right, so let's start here. And if you open your scrap anise kit, just pull that open and let's take out the bases. So we're going to start with, let's start with the tag. For this one, the backer piece was this paper. So let's flip through, and this is the sheet. It's harder to get the papers out of the pad than you think. There we go. Okay, so we've got that paper with this tag, and we'll set that aside. These are the elements, so we'll set those aside as well. Next, I'm going to take a look at the bell. For this one, we've got all the little elements. For the bell, you're going to need the poinsettia sheet and the vellum. Let's find that poinsettia sheet. Okay, get that torn out. So we've got this sheet and the vellum. All right, so that's ready to go. And we've got, let me set that over there. All right, so there's 2. Now for the star, I just used the sheet with the writing on it. And that would be, I want to make sure I pick the right one. There's actually 2 sheets. This is the one. And you see how I'm moving it down. Actually, what I did on this one for positioning, I moved it so that I could keep these 2 images, because I'm going to use this Santa Claus one. So when we go to cut it, you want to stay to the lower half of this one. All right, that one. And then for the bauble, the big bauble, this one I used 2 sheets. The red one and this one with the wreath on it, or with the garland on it, sorry. So we've got that one. And now this is where we get into the next stack. Because on the back side of this one that you cut the star, is actually the red sheet. Okay, so we're going to take this one and this one. Okay, so this is going to be the larger circle, and then this will be the inner circle. Okay, so we have that. All right. Now, the next thing we want to take a look at, keep this so we don't get too confused here. Let's go back to the tag. Now you've got the ribbon. You can, I've got it set to go with the green with the string, but as we get along, you can just make up your own mind about what you need. All right, now we've got several elements here. We've got the tree, a tag, a little piece of decorative chips. So from there, we can go to our elements sheet. Let's see. That one is about, it's the right size. Yeah, that's the one. All right. Now I'm going to cut these pieces out just to show you. I'm actually going to end up with 2 sets because I've already cut the one. Cut this out of the element sheet. Okay, we've got that. Now we're going to go back to our 8x8 pad because we're looking for the Christmas tree. Oh. And that one, no, that one's going to be on the small 6x6 pages. It'll be right here. Yep, that's one. Cut this out. Sorry, I should be here so you can see me. So we've got the Christmas tree. Here is one of the little tags. Let me make sure I've got the right paper for that one. Okay, we're looking for this one. And this is in the 8x8 paper pad. So you can cut that one out. I find that it's just easier to get everything assembled, all your parts first. All right, so that goes with that one. And then we need this small tag. And that one is also from the 8x8 paper pad. See the one with the plaid side? Okay, we got those. This, and there is one other piece that we need, and that one is from the 6 pages from the pop-up pad, and you'll see where the ribbons are and the deer. We want this little stack of presents right here. Okay. So for this one, we've got the Merry Christmas tag, the little strip, the presents, the tree, and the window. So when we're all said and done, this one will be ready to go. Now, the other thing we haven't talked about is when I did these, the original one, I didn't do anything with the back side. But once we get all of our papers cut, we'll talk about this to see how, if you'd rather paint it or take from the papers that are left over and then just put paper on the back. But I want to make sure we have enough papers to do the tags first. So we'll set this one aside. All right, let's go to the bell. Now for the bell, we've already pulled our papers, the vellum. We've got a ribbon. And for this, we're going to take from our kit. We've got this kit. There's a small wreath in here. Let's open this up. And here again, too, there's plenty of chips. So you can add more than what I have. But on this particular page, you'll see this is the little holly wreath right here. So you want to grab that one. And here, we need Santa Claus. From Santa Claus is going to come from the small 6x6 element sheets. So I'm going to cut him out. And like I say, you can pause me anytime you want. So you can go along with me. All right, so we have the Santa Claus. Let's see what else we have here. Now, from your 8x8 paper pad, let's get over to there. On the same sheet that you cut out that one little strip, this is where you're going to get the square. This is just a pretty little frame. Probably should use bigger scissors for this one. Just force a habit picking up these little ones. All right, so we have the Santa Claus, and we've got the frame, and then back to our 8x8 paper pad. And I keep trying to work from the top, split it into two pieces and keep working from the top half. So you might even end up with a good bit, except for that one sheet of a whole set. So for this one, I chose the Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. And then we're looking for a stack of presents. I went through, and some of these just had really nice images within a tag. Let me see which ones I took. Okay, I think on this one we're getting into the second set. This is it. All right, on the sheet that has the small little tags, I just took out this tag and then fussy cut around the gifts. Can you see that? So let's cut that one out. Now this is part 2 because you're going to be using the green paper. And that's why we didn't have it in the first set, because you've already cut it out. Let me think of something here. It's called being economical. You can get it out of the same paper. Okay. Sorry about that. The sheet that you took for the tag, if you cut it over to this side, you can still get this out of the same piece of paper without any waste. So let's go back. Let's go back and do that. So take the tag, which is this one, and when you cut it, make sure you're over on this side, and then you can cut this, and also you'll need this little tag for the large bauble. So it'll be only one piece of paper, and you won't have to cut the second. Are we all set with that one? Okay, so we've got the bell. There's the parts for that. And then for the star, I've got a ribbon. On this one, this is what I did remember this one. When you position to cut out for the star, you want to cut it to the lower half, because this Santa Claus is your element right here. So you'll be able to fussy cut right around that one. Okay? So we'll have the that one, and then you're also going to have the circle wreath, which we've just done. Okay. We'll have those parts from this one sheet. And then the last is the back side with the tags, and I used the green Merry Christmas. Okay, so we've got the round frame, Santa Claus, and the Merry Christmas, and then your tag, all out of this, or the star, all out of this one sheet. So you'll be using this little Santa Claus. Okay, I hope I'm not confusing anybody. I apologize about that sheet for the tags. Now for this one, this was the original one I made, which got this whole thing started. Like I was telling you, on that green sheet for the tag, down at the very bottom is this little Merry Christmas tag with the car. So make sure you cut that out. Then for the gingerbread house, you can take that off the element sheet. And there are several more gingerbread houses. So this isn't a one and done, and that's why I included so much in your kit. So you can make plenty more with the other elements. And there's some really nice ones in here. There's a lot of holly, which I really liked. Okay, so we've got the car, the tag, and the car we're going to use from the element sheet again. You see right there. Now, for the poinsettias, that one, again from the element sheet. Now there's a lot more, excuse me, in the kit, but you can add more. This is just the way I did it. So I need that one. And then I cut a few more for down here. That one. There's a teeny one. One with the white flower. This should be about right. Again from the Element kit. Now when I first did this, this original one, I did not have the pop-up kit, which is why I'm not using too many of the elements from there. But you can go back through and see if there's anything else that you like from there. I did cut some holly. And let's see. In the pop-up kit, the 6 little sheets, the 6x6s, there is, see, there's a whole bunch of the white flowers. And if you go through this, the one we cut the presents from. But see, you also have another car, another window. We cut one from there. And then we've got a whole sheet here of the holly and the poinsettias. So we just cut a few pieces from that. And I think we're good. I cut a smaller one. This is the big one. There's different sizes of the cars. So just make sure you take the one from the Element sheet because it's the right size. Same with the house. Let's see. Yep, they're the same. So no matter which sheet you take it from, they're going to be the same size. So we all clear now. We have this tag. We've got the house. We've got the car. And we've got some flowers, which you can cut extra flowers to fill in. That's no problem. And then you've got your 2 sheets for the backer. Okay, let's put that together. The other little piece that's here from your chipboard set is going to be this little circle. This little one, you just pop it out. And what I did, it's just tucked in there. And you'll see when we put it together, I just cut it just to fit in. So you can punch that one out now too if you'd like. But that's everything together. We know where we're heading now. So the next thing we want to do, okay, we've got all 4, is to cut the papers to match your bases. So let's get started there. Okay, for these papers, you know, we're going to use the round, the bauble or ornament. I don't know, it depends where you're at. On this particular one, I cut the paper a little bit bigger. It's about 1/4 of an inch all the way around. So let's take this and flip it over. And you're going to trace it, but make sure that you lay it down so that you're already leaving enough that you can cut around it. Now this one has writing, so I always try to make sure the writing isn't going uphill or downhill. So grab your pencil. And as easy as that, I just make a very light mark, but it's there. Now, when you cut, make sure you're going to leave that about 1/4 of an inch outside of your pencil line. And if you notice too where I placed it, when I cut it out, I'm still going to get this element that I can use on something else. And this happens to be the Santa Claus. for one of the other ornaments. So you can keep that in mind when you're cutting. You're going to have paper left over. And I didn't draw to the top, the very top part, where the hole is, because I'm going to have another piece of paper that goes over the top of that, and that's where I'm going to allow for that. And you'll see in just a minute when I get around. Okay. So my Merry Christmas should be lined up. But there we are with this piece. And you see how I've got the border all the way around. And it doesn't have to be exact. You can when you glue it down, you can line it up on your pencil line. Okay? So got that part done. And then for the second one, we're going to go all the way and include the top part. So you're going to actually make the little tab at the top on this one. And this one is going to be undersized. But go ahead and trace it out. You can go to the edge here and the edge here, because that's going to go away anyways. This is going to be an exact here. You want this little tab, and just draw around. It sounds confusing, but it's not once you see how it goes. All right. Now, got it drawn. You need that tab at the top, so cut on the line until you get to the bobble part. Then you come in just a little bit and just cut inside the line. Now, if it's easier for you, once you make the outline and you're not sure where you're cutting, you can draw another pencil line inside. I'm just going to wing it. It seems to turn out all right. And it's not an absolute perfect circle either, which is okay. Now here we come around. Okay, now we're coming around to that tab at the top. So remember, you're going to stop right there. You're going to go right on the line. We'll set our scraps to the side. So now you see what we've got. Okay. So this part's going to go on. And this will be to the top. I think that'll work just fine. Let's go up just a little bit higher when we get it glued on. So we've got that part done. So let's take our pieces. I like to keep everything stacked together so I know where I am. Set that one aside. And let's go to the tag. All right, now this is the one that we were talking about from the beginning. That when you cut the piece for the tag, this one I made the same size. But when you cut it, make sure you line it up. See, and this doesn't have a border around the edge, so you can go right to the edge. Line it up so it's good and even. And then you want to make sure now you're keeping this part and this part. for the other ornament. Grab your pencil. And this was just an easy cut. You can cut right on the line. Sorry, I don't mean to go off camera. And let's make my little mark there. Okay, done and done. And we'll take this one. Got all of our pieces. Okay, now I didn't do it for the other sets, but now this is the part where you fill in those pieces that you needed. The tag. And this one goes to the round bauble. That's the one with the car. And then this little one, you're going to cut out. And we're just going to fussy cut the presents on that one. And that one goes with the tutu. Oh, it goes with the tag. That's the one that the presents sit behind the tree. So that one goes to the tag. Okay, not to confuse the issue, we'll show you one more time because we have the tree and the window. And then these little packages are going to go under the tree over here. And this is under here. Make sure we have everything. Merry Christmas. Okay. So when you cut the backer for the tag, you'll cut out those little packages also. All right. Now, if I were live, I'd say, are there any questions? But, you know, after the fact, if you've got any questions, you know, be sure and let me know. Now we're going to go to the bell. Now for the bell, I also did this a little oversized. So it's going to be the same thing. We're going to trace it. Get that right. And leave your 1/4 of an inch so that when you cut it out, you've got the extra edge. All right, and down we go. Lots of times when I'm cutting things like this, I use my X-Acto knife, but today we'll use scissors. Around the top. There you've got that. And then for the vellum, just take your piece of vellum. Now, this one's going to be a bit smaller. And it should just fit exactly once you trim it down. So what we're going to do here If you lay it just right on your paper, on your vellum, it'll fit exactly. So again, we'll trace it. The reason I did the vellum on this one is I love the poinsettia paper, but it just looked a little bit busy to me, so this just kind of tones it down a little bit, in case you're wondering why. And then back in and just trim it short. And we're almost there. Yeah, on these I don't mind taking a little bit of time on it. Round that off a little bit. Okay, set that aside. So we've got this all set to go. Now we've got the parts for the bell. All right, one more to go. We've got the star. We've got our parts. And for this one, like I said, you'll probably want to trace it on this side, just to make sure you don't miss any parts. I did trace it on the right side and then just erase the pencil lines, so that's not going to hurt anything. And I cut this one to size. So I had to bring it a little closer to my face to see. This probably would have been a good one with the X-Acto knife. And if you're at all in doubt, go just a little outside the line, so that when you can always trim it once you glue it down. It's not the neatest. Okay. They're good to go. And you'll notice on this one, there's a tiny bit of holly, and I just put that at the top because I knew that's where I traced it, so it'll fit. And see, once I glue it down, you can see I did a little oversize. You can just trim that right down, or just you can rough up the edges, and you won't even notice that at all. All right, so we have all these ready to go, all four. Everything's still together. All of these. So the next thing is all of the elements that we pulled out of the papers and got ready to go. Now it's time to fussy cut. So we take a little pause here and we can start fussy cutting. And when I come back, we'll be all done. Okay, we're back. So now you have all your fussy cutting done. So the next thing to get ready is we're going to need a hole puncher and the glue, and heat up your glue gun for the sisal and grab your sisal. And the other thing is you have in your kit, you've got some 3D foam, but you may want to get some chipboard to use for height. But the 3D foam will probably work pretty well. So once you have all that together, excuse me. So now this is the time that we talked about earlier. If you want to finish the back of your ornaments, let's take a look and see what we have left from our 8x8 paper pad. So you can decide. So this is actually the second set from your pad. So you've got this left to use. You've got the plaid. You've got another poinsettia. You've got the stripes. Another green. So if you decide you want to put paper on your back, now's the time to trace on your bases and get those cut out before we start assembling. So let's see what we have here. And I'm going to use a little reference guide because when I first put these together, I took a photograph of what they should look like. Okay, so here's my photograph for placement. So I know I want this down here, this little tag behind the window, got the tree, and this is that little stack of presents. Okay. Get your chair set. So we'll set these aside. And you've already got your paper pre-cut. And I already punched the hole right there for your ribbon. So let's get this going. Move this aside. And you can use any glue that you prefer, preferably one that doesn't have it stuck. All right, that's better. Now, I know we have a tendency to want to make sure it sticks down, but less is always more. Lined up. And one of my essential tools is some kind of burnisher. Just get your glue down right away. Make sure you don't have any bleed off the edges. Okay. Got our hole punched. Now, for placement. Let me trim this down again. Just a little bit more. I didn't trim that one very close. All right, let's refer back to my picture again. This one was trimmed down perfect. Got the window, this tucked behind it. Then our tree. And I want to make it so tree covers. You see there's just a little spot back there. We might have to just tuck the presents up to cover that. Okay, let me double check myself. Bring it down just a bit, because for this one, I also cut a little bit of the holly from your chips kit, and I was going to have that at the top. So we want to move everything down just a little bit. Okay. Well, this is just kind of the fussing part, just part of playing with these things. What I'm going to do on this tag, since I don't want everything to be so straight, let's just rough up the edge a little bit. And I hope this doesn't seem like it's going very long, but I don't want to just say, oh, and then do this and do this. So we're going to go through all the steps. Even though you're experienced crafters, we're just going to go through it. To make sure you get the right result, or the result you want. Let's put it that way. All right, got that. And I'm going to offset that a little bit. I don't think I'm going to raise this one up because it's going to go a little bit high if we do. And a little bit of glue. Now, for our window, I do want this to be raised up. Like I say, if you want to grab your foam, you can do it both ways, or just grab a little cardboard, and I'm going to stick it so that it's not falling off the edge. So let me make sure. Okay, that's going to work. Now, since I already generally have the placement, I'm going to glue it down. Just make sure your cardboard doesn't show off the back, because it gets kind of messy. Put that in place. And I think we'll do the same with this bottom piece. It just about goes edge to edge. And I'm not putting it right at the bottom either. Okay. Now this, the Christmas tree, is going to have to come up, because we want it up past the window. So we've already got one piece that's going to take at least 2 pieces of chipboard. Yeah, to bring it up. Okay. Now, if you're going to use the foam, you're probably going to have to at least double or triple stack it. For the interest of time, let's just do this. Now I've seen some people just fill up the whole back of it. You know, really do a heavy construction. I don't usually do that. If it seems like there's too much play in it, I'll go back in and put something else down. I've got two. I still need one more. Let's see how that looks. Oh yeah. So you can see for the dimension now. Okay. And for this particular collection, it's such a clean, crisp, classic Christmas. I'm not doing any of the edges. I'm not inking the edges. When I fussy cut, I fussy cut right down to the end. If you left white trim, you might want to go ahead and do a little inking. That works out. I was going to tuck these down behind, but I'm thinking it should go right there. And then put a little sisal behind. Here's my pick. All right, for the 3D foam, I always use a little pick to get those off rather than fingernails. This should be just about as tall as the tree. I'm putting 3. Okay. And you see now how much dimension we've got on that. Now I think what we'll do here, curve that edge a little bit. I really like this holly, and you won't see too much of it once we get the ribbon on. But there was a little curly cue here, and I thought it was kind of cute right there around the hole. So I might just glue that down right there. Now after we're finished, you know, feel free to go in and you can add more. But this was just my take on the collection. Okay, let's get that down. And it's coming up just a little bit there, but I don't mind that too much. If you're afraid it's going to break, just put a little dab of glue down. Just take a second to hold it. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to set it aside. Just got the basics done. We're going to do the sisal and extra flowers and things once that's all dry, because I don't want to be moving it around till it's good and dry. All right, let's see what we have next. We've got the star. Okay, I punched my hole. I think I'm going to use the one I like this. It's the one I just did, and I did it to size. But we're going to scruff up the edges a little bit. Yeah, anytime you do more than one of anything, I find it was easier. Like we cut all the papers and did that first. If we do all of one kind of operation at a time, it just is easier for me. A little bit more. Now when you're finishing these off, since on the tag I had that little bit of chips on there, I'm not too concerned about it. When you get to the hole, if you want to, you can put an eyelet in there, you know, to neaten up the little hole. Or there's a little something else you can do I've seen done before. If you have just like it's like a 3/4 inch hole punch. If you just take a piece of scrap paper and place it where your hole is, you can glue that down. And that should be about right. I'll show you what I mean. You just take this little bit, go around the outside edge, and if you want to finish it on the back, you can do the same thing. It's not always going to line up because I'm eyeballing it, but it's life in the fast lane, huh? Let me see, where's my, there it is. Yeah, I'm a little off center, but you get the idea, because then you've got like a little finished edge on it. And being the neurotic that I am, I'll just do another one and make it right. Yeah, this is non-scripted. I'll do the next one correctly. Promise. Get this one lined up. Well, if it's not right this time, it's going to stay that way. I have got the crookedest eye today. Okay. Lid on my glue. All right, now for this one, since the star is such a weird shape, I didn't want to just put everything in the center, so I selected this frame. And then I kind of like this Santa Claus because he already had a lot of flowers and things. Now, if you notice here when I fussy cut, when you cut it from the paper, there's going to be a straight edge. So I just really trimmed off so that you didn't have quite such a squared off edge. But you'll see it when you're cutting. You'll see what I'm talking about. All right. Let me check the photo on this one. And that was it. Okay. So for this one, we can go with a little more height. And I think we'll probably just go with the foam. So it's not quite so flat. And I'm going to put this more to the center, I think. So when I put it on the star, it's not sticking out on any of the edges. Let's see how that goes. Let me see now. Santa Claus can be there, so I want the, I'm going to turn it so I've got some more poinsettias down at the bottom. Okay. I like that. Now, for Santa Claus, I'm going to raise him up just a little bit. I think that's, and I don't mind that, that it's offset this way, because we can put a little sisal back here. Plus, we also have the Merry Christmas tag. So you see it's going to be not, too lopsided. But it's still going to look full, and that's what I really want. Let's see if I can get him on there. Yeah, these different shapes sometimes they're hard, to get things to work around them. Oops, sorry. I need to sit somewhere there. should work. And the Merry Christmas, I think I'm just going to leave flat. So let's just get that on there. And since it's going to stick over, don't glue the whole side. Okay, let me take a look at that, see if it's straight. And I've also got put this in here. I think we'll come back when we start doing the sisal. I think we'll play with this a little bit more and see where I want that to be. Okay, I'll set that one aside. Just waiting for the finishing touches. Right, now for the bell. All of our pieces. Package. Okay, if you remember, this one was oversized. So we're going to scruff up the edges on this. I hope you're able to work along with me a little bit here. I am just doing all the necessities. So you can see in real time that you could actually finish this in an afternoon. Okay, now when you go to glue this one, you want to kind of turn it over so you can make sure you got your edges. And I never glue right to the edge. That way nothing squishes out. Lay it down and turn it over so you can line it up. Okay. Now for the bell. I didn't punch the hole yet. Let me get that done in the vellum. Okay, let me check my photo on this one. Okay. Now, a little thing about working with vellum is that it will show glue. You know, if you try to glue it down on something. The only thing that doesn't show through is if you use like the gilding glue that you use for foiling. If you brush it on, it will not show through. It'll dry perfectly clear. But for this, we're not going to go through that. So what I'm doing is I'm going to do around where the punch is, because we know that's going to have something that's covering it. And then for placement, we're going to have this frame, so I know I can glue here, here, and here to keep that down. And also we've got a little something going on behind there. So let me just tack it. If that makes sense to you, why I'm just doing a light tack. If we need more, I'll go back. But for right now, it'll be in place. Okay, we got that. Now, this one I am going to raise up because we've got this little wreath that I may just cut down to come up. And then our Santa Claus is going to be here. Packages. And another Merry Christmas. So by the time we're finished, I'll go back in and tack underneath that frame to keep the vellum down. For right now, we're golden. This frame's a little bit big, so I think I'm just going to go with the chipboard on this. Put a little dab of glue there. Just get that right for placement. Get that straight on, make sure it's straight. Okay, now for under here, I want that to come around. So I think, okay, you won't need to use the whole thing, and that's the beauty part. You can cut these apart easily. Use the different parts. I like the chips so much. I don't usually paint them because I really can appreciate just the natural look of them. Let's get that up there. Okay, get that down. Add a little more glue to the vellum. Just hold it down for a few seconds and it'll be down. Add a little more glue into that vellum there. And of course, we're back to the punch. Let's see, we're back to this. For your cutout for your hole. There we go. I'm going to use a little lighter color back there. It's actually just this is the fun part. Putting it all together. And like I say, this isn't a hard and fast rule. If you just see what I've done and take what you like about it. Let's see if we can get Santa Claus up here. I'm going to have to tack just a little bit to this vellum. It's not real thick. It'll be all right. So if it dries clear and you don't have, you know, like a blob there, just rub it in. Since I didn't know if you guys had gilding glue, so we weren't even going to address that. But for the future, if you want to do anything with vellum, that's the way to go. All right, let's get Santa Claus up here. And I think he's going to get okay. Now I'm going to put a single layer. But when I think now we get down to his feet, I think I'm going to want two because he's going to be just off the end of this frame. Let me check it and see how that's going to go. I'm going to need one more underneath. Just to keep everything tight. Okay, so you see what I did there? I just slid it underneath. So he'll be in good shape. Now, let's see what we have left. We have the packages. Now you notice too when I'm putting these together, if you spread it apart, if you don't have everything at least touching or, you know, making a single movement, it doesn't work as well. So, you know, by tucking things in or putting them under, create just a little bit of interest. Let's see, I think that'll go. And there again, it's the packages are going to sit here, so I'm going to want 2 at the bottom, the 2 layers. Oops. That one does not want to come off. Okay, here we go. So we've still, like I was saying, we've got the movement around here, the wreath bringing around to the presents. And then we're going to do the Merry Christmas. And I think we'll raise it on this one just to get a little more interest. These are Scrap Boys foam pads, by the way. They've got, they're really nice. They're heavy duty for sure. They've got them in 1 millimeter thick, 2 millimeter thick, and 3 millimeter thick. Plus they also have a 12 by 12 full sheet. Okay, that looks good. No, I'm not patting myself on the back. It's kind of like what I had in mind. Okay, let me punch the hole here. I still didn't get it straight. I think I'm going to have to practice that. Once the ribbon's on there, I hope you won't notice. All right, let's clear some things away here. We've got one more to go. And then we'll do all the fill-in stuff. Okay, now for the large bauble. Grab our base, our pieces. Okay, get ready to glue. Oops, sorry, I forgot. I know there's gadgets for this, but never got around to getting one. Okay, now the glue. Okay, once again, we'll flip it over. Attach it to our pencil line. And then on this one, do up on the tab. Okay, now for this one, I already have this one put together. What I did is I raised up the tag on this. The house went on top of that with another raised layer, and then the car went on top of that. So let's get that assembled. About halfway. And then get some more cardboard. If we'll just go up one on that. I'm going to pull up the edges a little bit. Maybe do a little rough up. Okay. So next for the house. Right about there. Okay, for this one we'll do a little more cardboard. Just go right about there. This one will take 2 layers. Actually 3. And if you're using the foam squares, you can adjust it. But this is just about 3 millimeters. So what I'm using in my chipboard is about 3 layers of this cardboard. And since I did that, and we want to raise it up here, we're going to do 2 would bring it, another one of foam. Here we're going to put 2 layers of foam. I'm going to raise that up just a little bit. My fault. I'm going to leave room at the bottom for some more flowers. Okay. And next would be the car. And I'm just kind of bending a little bit, so it's just got a little bit of shape. It's not quite so flat when I put it on. And bring that to right about there. Now, if you notice, there's a car in this postcard, so I'm just going to place it so that the car is just barely hiding it. And it's going to take a couple layers. You know, like any of this, it's not an exact science. It's just a matter of getting it so it makes you happy to look at. Let's see if it's too big. No, it's just about right. I think that's enough. I'm going to make it back here. Down just a bit. That should do it. Well, I find, since we're doing multiples, it's just as easy to take all these glued pieces and set them aside and let them really dry before we start adding too much stuff. Take a chance on moving it around. Now this is the part now that I took that little piece that has like the little snowflakes and stars, and I just placed that just so it just peeks out from the top of the house. So we'll glue that in place. Just little dabs of glue. We don't need a whole lot. Bring this down just a little bit. Okay. And with this kit, there are just so many elements for you to choose from. So, you know, if any of these aren't exactly what you have in mind, you know, we've got all the fixins, you know, for the poinsettia. Here again, you don't want it to just, there we go. We're just going to do a little shaping under here. Let's get some foam. That's another reason why I don't fill the whole backside up with foam, is because when you start tucking things underneath it, you don't have any room. Let's see if we got that down far enough. Okay. And this is where you want to fill in. Here again, we're going to do a couple of layers, and then I'm going to put some more flowers back here. So let's go with the foam again. Okay. And I'm going to put some more flowers down there. Almost forgot to punch my hole, the dreaded hole. Sorry, I'm off camera about that. I cannot see this thing. Tell you how we're going to fix this. It's still off. I tell you, there's a skill that I need to master. When you do it, I hope you do a better job. All right, we've got that all set. Let me see. 2, 3. Now for the zhuzhing. We got the sisal, got our ribbons. Now you've got plenty of ribbon if you want to just make a simple loop. That's fine, but you can always Make your loop a little shorter, or use some string and make a bow. Okay, now for the fillers. Now we've got to add a little bit of interest, a little bit of excitement. If you have extra flowers and things, this is the time to pull them out or cut some more, which I may end up doing. But for right now, let's start with the sisal. Okay, now in your package, you've got like a little ball of it. And it gets a little messy and it does break. but you don't need a whole lot of it. What you want to do is kind of separate it out. And this is where you're going to need your hot glue gun, because it would take forever. So you can see there's just a few strands. Just kind of ball it up. And if anything sticks out after, you can just cut it off. But what I'm wanting to do is put it right here to fill this empty spot. And I know it's white on white, so let me bring this up close. You see, you're just kind of setting it in there a little bit. And it's still pretty loose. You know, it's not packed in there very tight. Just set it around. Then you take your glue gun and you find a nice hidden spot. And if you look, your glue gun will work. There we go. Put a nice dollop in there. You can bend your stuff back in place. Under the flower. Just enough to tack it. It won't pop out. There's a stray one right there. Okay. It's as easy as that. If there's any place else you want to tuck it, that's fine. We're going to put some more flowers underneath to fill in that spot. Then up in here, put a little bit there. So take another little few strands. It doesn't take much. So you just want to kind of work it around, not too tight, but it's like a little bit of straw. And this you just have to play with a little bit. And this is why I say if you've got too much behind your elements, you know, to hold them down, this is where it gets difficult because you don't have any room to put things. So let's get some hot glue in there. That's why I like the glue, because it'll stick right away. This is just a little finessing there. Okay. Set that aside for a minute. And let's take a look here what this needs. I'm definitely going to add some more flowers, I think, down in here. But for the base of the tree, definitely I want a little fluffy stuff. Now there's a lot of different things you can use as filler. Cheesecloth. This is kind of like my all-time favorite. Another stray one here. Just that little bit is going to fill it right in. And sometimes when I'm doing these, you know, set it aside, take a look at it, you know, and come back to it. Grab another little. And in your kit, you also have a little top with snow in it and some glitter. So that's another little thing that you can add. But you see how little I'm using. On this one, and don't worry that you're covering up any of the flowers, because that's the thing about sisal, because then it just kind of shows through, it peeks through. It tones down. I did not really well. There we go. Just take your little pick and you can stick it right back in there. And again, a little trim. Oops, sorry. It wouldn't hurt to put some right back there. Oh yeah, that's kind of... See, it just softens all the edges. Okay, let's see what we got here. Now for this one, I'm going to cut a few more flowers, I think, for this side. But I think we'll add a little sisal right back in here. And it's going to kind of ground Santa Claus. So he's just not floating. Yeah, don't be afraid to just pull this stuff apart. Okay, now for the little fill-ins. I'm going to fill in any spots that need a little bit of help. I cut a few extra flowers because I was thinking just possibly we might need some more. Let me see what I have here. And we've got a lot of these little holly leaves. These are awfully cute. And let's see what we got. I know I wanted to add a little something here, but I don't want it to just stick out. Kind of like it needs a purpose, you know, rather than just placing things. That wasn't it. Let's try this. See, since we have the holly up here, see, that might be nice right there. And just a little one over the top. Still seems a little empty right there, though, to me. Yeah, it needs a little right in there. See what happened there? It was just like a blank spot. So put a little interest behind Santa. This is the part that, you know, your own good judgment will come into play. Put that there. And I still like the holly because then it's kind of tying into the little holly behind the frame. So let's put a little glue on that. Kind of filled out that corner. All right, I'll set him aside. A little glue stuck there. All right, now this one definitely needs some fill in because we don't have anything exciting going on down here. I don't know that it just, I don't want to cover the window. Our tree is just kind of floating along somewhere. So I'm thinking we are back to our good friend sisal, unless I can find a nice little piece. Holly, and then maybe a little sisal underneath or on top. It's another one of those things, just you have to create a little bit of interest. Yeah. Okay. My little Christmas tree just kind of looks like he's floating. It's too much. This stuff does get a little messy. See, instead of just having the holly stick out, there, that kind of grounds it. And then you can see now that we've got just peeking out. You can see the holly underneath when you get up close. Just doesn't look quite full enough to me right there. And I don't know why. That offsets it. Yeah, that's what it needs right there. Because all you got is that little card sticking up. Okay. That looks better. And we've got Santa Claus. I think he's done. Star. Back to the big bauble here. This is what this one needs right here. Make everything come together. I'm going to ground the house. So we got a little something going on. But we're still kind of going around the outside. So let's glue that one down. You also notice I'm not sticking just to the inside. I like things to go outside the ornament. Bring that card to the front again. The holly can come up a little bit. Make sure you're just creating layers. All right, let's clear the area. And it's not a done deal. I mean, even once you get things going, you can add again. And say, oh, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Now, in your kit, you have a little black pot of snow paste. You can take that out, and an easy way to apply it, since these are smaller areas, is grab yourself a toothpick. Now, we're going to start with this one. I really liked all the snow on the roof. So take a little bit of your snow, and you can just tap it onto the tops, the rooftop. Just add a little texture. Okay, now while you have that a little bit wet, you've got a little pot of glitter. So now's the time, and just sprinkle it right onto your snow. You just need a little light touch. And you can decide any other little places you'd like to have little snow on that one, but I actually just kept it pretty simple. So let's see about the window and the tree. Back to our pot of snow. And just to kind of lighten it up, let's add a little snow to the top, because it is pretty green. Okay, let's see who else needs a little bit of snow. And really, you can just add it even on the top of your little Merry Christmas. And just lay it on. Okay, and wait for that to dry and then shake it off. Now you can also go in on all of these little spots here. A little dab of glue and some glitter. Or if you prefer, even like if you've got it, the fluid gloss or little dots. Just little highlights. And truly, this is your taste. Just put a little glue there. If you love glitter, I would go for it. Just wait for this to dry. Same on this little Christmas tree. It wouldn't hurt to put a little bit of little dab of glitter here and there. Okay, the glitter's all dry. We've got one last thing, should you choose to do it. Take any white acrylic paint and water it down. Pretty thin. I'm just going to put in a few spatters. Now, this is another, not only can I not punch holes correctly, but spattering is not my favorite thing. I tend to make a mess. And there you have it. Let's do a little cleanup here. And there are your ornaments for Christmas. And you've got plenty left over from your kit. So I hope you'll try your own creativity with the rest. And if you have any questions, be sure and let me know. And if you like this one, we might try it again sometime, because I really had a great time building these with you. Have a happy holiday, and thanks so much.